Hello and welcome to episode 6 of
The Complete Charting Guide.
There is no required content for this video as long as you know all the setup. So, this is the first video where we are moving past just setting up everything and we're actually doing things to the chart. Some people might consider adding section names as a prerequisite before you start doing things, but if you really wanted to, at this point, you could just start charting. But who cares about all the wordy stuff? Let's get right into it. So, my computer just crashed in the middle of my recording and I lost everything, so let's do it all over again. So, here I am with all the completed sections, which I will be blurring out, so you aren't cheating. You aren't looking ahead. And let me explain why you even want to do sections before you start charting. First of all, if your tempo map is wrong, when you're putting down the sections, you're going to easily be able to tell that because your sections won't line up. Now, the reason you want that is because if you start placing down notes and then realize you have to change the tempo map, you're screwed. You have to start the whole thing over. So this is one more extra fail-safe in case your tempo map is wrong. And for example, if you notice two sections have the exact same notes, you can just copy and paste everything from one section. And finally, it just is helpful that you can move around your chart really quickly and easily. Now the song's all tempo mapped, it's all set up, and I'm ready to start. Saving is always a good idea. To begin, if you do not remember, these green lines here is your section marker. And where do we begin with placing sections? The first spot you want to place one is right here at the very beginning of the wave file. And for now, I won't name them. I'll just be placing them down. But how do you determine where to place them? You're going to be looking at guitars, if they start doing a different riff in the background, the vocals changing, things like that. So I believe that this right here is a section change, so let me listen and see if it is. So why should I give you a ring? Right there it is. Because first of all, the guitar changes, so let's listen. Just listen out for the riff and the guitar. So why should I give you a ring? The drum beat changes. Why should I give you a ring? The vocal changes, because at first it's doing this rap kind of thing that I was doing. Then it goes into actual pitched vocals. So why should I give you a ring? The number one thing that indicates to me that this is a section change is the crash symbol. So why should I give you a ring? That smash just, boom, section change. Very clear. So I'll just place down a marker right here, and I'm going to place it exactly on this thick white line. You don't want it before or after, unless it's like a very niche scenario, which I will go over in the advanced section naming guide. Moving on, let's go to the next section. So yep, it goes back to the other guitar riff. There's no crash this time because we're going to a lower energy section. The drums change, vocals change. This seems like a different section. So I'm going to place it right there. Just scroll through. Oh, so sorry. Here's this again, the crash symbol. Instant green flag that this is a new section. This is hopefully pretty obvious that this is a new section of a solo. But in this case, where do you actually place the solo marker? Because you have the drums right here is where the solo really starts, and this is kind of a pre-solo. Well, you're going to want to place it here, and the reason for that is that it is more different from this section to here than it is from this to this. So there's a whole solo. Here, again, it's a bit tricky because the vocals come in right about here, the drums change right here, and the solo ends around right here. But again, you're usually just going to want to place it directly on these thick white lines. And another thing is you're usually listening to the drums to see these section changes. Same thing with the tempo mapping, right? You just want to listen to the drums. So, let me start by going over your 6 main options for you to name these sections. You have intro and outro, verse, chorus, bridge, and solo. Intro and outro are obviously just going to be if your first and last sections of the song don't match with any of the other things, just slap intro and outro on it. Then you have a chorus, which is going to be your high energy section. It's usually going to have the vocals be exactly the same. Then for the verse, it's going to be lower energy. Usually the vocals will be different. Your solo is going to be pretty obvious. If you really need me to explain a solo to you, it's just where one instrument takes the lead and gets to show off. Then your bridge is just going to be any section that does not fit any of those names. So as a general guide, there are two main song structures that you'll come across. That is A, B, A, B, C, B, and A, B, A, where A is the verse, B is a chorus, and C is a bridge or a solo. Whenever you listen to a song, if you think about these song structures, you're going to just see it everywhere because it really is so widely used. So let's get started.
First you came into my sight, I thought that I had found my...
This is either going to be an intro or a verse, I think. I'm just going to name it intro for now, and we can change it later. Oh my. Oh my god, I thought my computer crashed again. Whoo-wee. Alright, let's keep going. This is pretty clearly a chorus, and I'll explain that in a second.
Oh, it's just a little thing, then why is it so tight?
I believe this is a verse. Now this is also a chorus, and let me now explain why I'm convinced that this one is a chorus. First of all, it's higher energy. The words between each chorus are exactly the same. The drums are a little bit more high energy instead of being this syncopated pattern. Moving on to the solo here. Obviously, it's a solo. Alright. And then we have the final chorus here. Alright, and instead of intro, I now know that because it's following A, B, A, B, C, B, that this will be a verse.
First you came and realized...
And it's just a verse, it just doesn't have drums in the first half of it.
You always want me in the shade.
You're not done yet with naming sections. If you have multiple sections with the same name, like these verses and choruses, then you're going to need to number them. So I have verse 1 and verse 2. And the naming convention for these is going to be the name of the section, then a space, and then the number. Do the same thing with the choruses. Chorus 1, chorus 2, and chorus 3. As for the solo, there's only one solo, so you don't need to number it anything. Finally, what am I going to do here? Because this section is really long. It's just unusually long compared to all the other ones. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to split this in half. So usually I would just find halfway if there's no clear indicator, but I know there is in this song, so I'm just going to listen for it. Right there, right on that crash. We will put it there, and we will also name it Chorus 3 because it's part of the same section. Now, how we're going to name these two is we're going to name them A and B. So we have Chorus 3A and Chorus 3B. So again, naming convention, you have the name of the section, the number it is, so this is the third chorus, and then B is indicating this is the second subdivision of the third chorus. Now, if you wanted to, or even if you needed to, you could even put more markers in here, and then you would name that like Chorus 3C. But this one, there's no reason to put another one in here, so I don't need to do that. I believe that does it for this video. Next time, we will finally get into some of the ground rules for charting you need to know before you start actually placing down notes. Until then, happy charting.